As the super intelligent alcoholic character with a portal gun, Rick is the source of most of the crazy things that happen on Rick and Morty. And if there's one thing we've seen on the show, it's that anything can happen at any time. Because of that, there are lots of theories floating around about Rick Sanchez. And that's what we're looking at in today's quick list. Here are the craziest Rick theories on Rick and Morty. If you're new to the channel, you can hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay up to date with our stuff. If you saw our last video on Morty theories, one of the things I mentioned is that the Morty that we follow might not be Rick's original Morty. The idea is that the Rick we follow moved here from another dimension where he hadn't abandoned the family for 20 years. That would explain why he has memories of a baby Morty, which technically he shouldn't have. And some people have put together a theory as to why the dimension we follow didn't have a Rick in it. Because maybe he's dead. Kinda dark, but it makes a bit of sense. Although it's possible that Rick really did abandon the family and just jump to another dimension, it does make sense that maybe he died during an adventure and wasn't even alive for the birth of Morty. And if he did die on a trip to another dimension, it would explain why Beth thought he left, because there wouldn't be a body for her to see. And Rick does have a history of replacing dead Ricks. It kinda holds up. How would you act if you knew you were on a TV show? Maybe you'd address the audience directly.
Oh, we'll be right back.
Maybe you'd find yourself a catchphrase.
Wubba lubba dub dub!
Maybe you'd give updates on how the show's unrolling.
That's the end of season 1! That's the end, motherfucker!
So there's a theory that Rick knows he's in a TV show, and there's a lot of evidence to support it, which is what I was just talking about. What's even crazier is that the Rick and Morty TV show that he seems to know he's in also seems to exist in the Rick and Morty universe. At the end of the last episode of season 2, we see Mr. Poopy Butthole watching the episode.
Hoo-wee, what a cliffhanger, oh boy, oh my.
Some people even think that Mr. Poopy Butthole is the one who told Rick about the show. Such a good friend. So there's a theory going around that all of season 3 has been going on inside Rick's head. People are saying maybe we're still actually at Shoney's in the reality created in his own mind by the Galactic Federation. And yeah, maybe, but there's another theory going even further back that says that maybe none of this has been happening. Back in the season 1 episode M. Night Shyamalan's, Jerry and Rick make their way out of a simulation only to discover that it was a simulation inside another simulation. They made it out of that one too, but how do we know for sure that one wasn't inside another simulation? Maybe kind of a Russian doll situation. One of the things suggesting that they're out of simulations altogether is that when they make it out of the first one, Jerry is still wearing the simulated tuxedo, but when they make it out of the second one, it's gone. But one of the things people are pointing to that maybe they're still in one is this room. There seem to be a bunch of creatures in some kind of matrix setup, and we only get a good look at this one in particular, who's a Plutonian creature. But we don't actually meet those for the first time until like 6 episodes later. So are the so-called Plutonians just some creatures they had on file for the simulation? This theory's kind of a stretch, and it also falls into the overdone it was all a dream kind of thing. But let us know in the comment section what side of it you fall on. My vote's that it's not a simulation, but also it's just kind of what I'm hoping. Back in the pilot episode of Rick and Morty, Rick forced Morty to do something with tree seeds that most people would find unpleasant.
Put them way up inside your butthole, Morty.
My butt?
Put them way up inside there as far as they can fit.
Oh jeez, Rick.
And later in the episode, Rick reveals a side effect of those seeds dissolving inside him is super intelligence. And as they wear off, they make him drool quite a bit. Now the show's made it pretty clear that Rick is the smartest guy in the multiverse. So some people have connected the dots and theorized that Rick is so smart because he keeps some kind of tree seed juice inside his flask. It could potentially explain why he seems to be so much smarter than other Ricks. Also why he's always drinking from his flask and why he's always drooling. That's it for today's quick list. There are obviously a ton of Rick theories floating around, and this doesn't even scratch the surface. So we'd like to hear some of your favorite in the comment section. And if you're watching this on the Screen Rant Facebook page, there's a link you can hit to jump over to the YouTube page and subscribe. Thanks for watching.